Oh yeah, that was exactly the sort of literature that the young Barack Obama and myself would have been very comfortable with. And what we were doing is we were actually planning our lives and our careers in anticipation of that revolution coming. And I think that's kind of what the evidence shows took, or I mean that's where he was coming from at the time.
Well, very interesting.
Have you had any interest from major media outlets on your story, especially since you came out with the article on Newsmax?
I'm finding out that I'm more famous on Twitter than I am elsewhere. On Twitter I'm Augustine25.
Have that, I think here.
Yeah, yes. It turns I'm in the top 40 conservatives on Twitter, and I'm among the top 5 libertarians on Twitter. So apparently, my Twitter identity is a lot more famous than my John Drew Grant writer identity.
Right, and tell us. Now I'm looking at a Twitter ID that says John Drew 25. Do you have two? Is that a different Twitter?
Yeah, John Drew 25. I tried unsuccessfully to keep my business separate from my politics, and now I'm just going to trust that people see me as a surgeon, and they don't really care about my politics. They'll still hire me to write their grants.
Right.
But in terms of media attention, it really kicked off. I'm going to be on the Steve Malzberg talk show in New York and Washington D.C. on Monday, and then I'm getting picked up by like ResistNet has an online radio show, and I've gone ahead. I've emailed the story to. I understand it's been picked up. The folks at Fox News know about the story. I got back some feedback from somebody on the Hill who thought it was actually one of the most important stories of the year, which was kind of sobering for me.
And by day, if people have a grant that they need to have written, what's the website?
If they just type in John Drew 25 and Google me,
and it'll come up.
it will come up, and you can tell them I brought in about $750,000 in green jobs training money for Orange County.
So you know how to write a grant. Well, this is all very interesting, and we appreciate you spending so much time with us today.
Oh, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you so much for your time.
Great honor.
It was enlightening. Okay. And our viewers, by the way, are going to kill me if I don't say thank you and how much they really enjoyed this, because they've learned so much. Because we hear a lot of people, waging accusations about this, that, or the other, but to have somebody who fully understands a lot of the nuances of the issue, it's good to talk to you. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I sure appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye. You are watching the Bcast on Breitbart TV, and it was I went longer than I was thinking, but I just kept learning. Well,
because there was so much to go through.
And I was watching our audience count. I think this may have become. I don't know how, if you guys were sending the links around or whatever, but our audience just surged through that hour. Probably the largest.
Twitter's going around on Twitter.
I think the largest live audience outside of some huge breaking event or something like that we've had in just this last hour. So if you've never watched the Bcast and you tuned in for this, that's what we do. Liz Stephans, Scott Baker. We put together those links on Breitbart TV all day long, as we have the last 3 years since we co-founded the site, and then every afternoon we ramble on talking about these things with people in the chat room, the B-chatters, who then dissect everything and make fun of us. Wow. And a lot of the questions do come from you guys. The ones we asked in the last, 55 minutes, hour of that interview came from you. So thank you for that. We like to help build out interviews in ways that you guys find enlightening. Because it was that, it filled in some blanks, and it raises... I thought the charismatic leader part was really interesting, because he explained it in a way that I never would have thought, talking about the differences between his years at Columbia, his years at Occidental College. Why would it be so different? Right. So I thought all of that was really enlightening. Yeah, and I really have been trying to fill in the blanks on this idea of how committed was he as an ideologue, or was this all just sort of a practical alignment of life circumstance that made him align with left groups and whatnot, just as a way to advance his career. But holy cow, there's a lot to chew on in that interview.